welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful summer and you're enjoying it as much as I am. It's so nice to have you guys back on my channel, and today I'm painting a teacup, but it's a little different this time. This video is all about art block and how I deal with art block. I think it's important to address it because as artists, we all go through it, and there are long periods of time where we don't even feel like holding a brush, and it's a totally normal and valid emotion and experience. But I just wanted to talk to you about it and how I deal with it so it can be helpful to some of you guys. As you can see, I decided to paint a teacup, not just any teacup, a clear teacup with kind of clear tea in it. So it's it's a little challenging to paint clear things, in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of trial and error, and this is one of those instances which it definitely taught me so many lessons, and it was not what I expected it to turn out to be. But these are important lessons that you learn by making those errors, and that is totally fine. It's a learning curve and it's totally normal. So I picked this reference photo for this reason because it was challenging. I know it's a clear teacup with clear liquid in it, which is kind of challenging, but when I looked at it, I felt like I can do it. It's something that I want to try. It's new and it felt interesting. So I went on and I sketched the teacup and I did everything. And I started painting and I realized the teacup is not very proportionate. But you know what? Sometimes I like to measure things and do things the way it's supposed to be done. Sometimes, as an artist, I like to freehand stuff. Most of the time, when I'm painting, I do not like to use rulers and stuff like that, which would have been extremely helpful in this case. But me being the person I am, I decided to kind of freehand all the shapes and angles of this teacup, which did not turn out to be great. But I was thinking, while I'm painting, I can fix it here and there. I can do a lot of things. I feel like when I walked into this painting session, I was not in the right mindset. I was having a lot going through my mind, and it definitely affected the way I started off. And it just started off to be one of those paintings that felt like, oh, I can't wait to finish it, but not in a good way. I just wanted to be done with it. So a lot of things were going wrong along the way, and I did not like the shape of the cup. I did not like the colors I kind of picked. I felt like it didn't look as realistic as I wanted it to look. Everything was not falling into place the way I wanted it to, and I realized later on in the painting, you'll see me fix this. The circle rim of the cup that I drew turned out to be far too wide for the angle that I'm painting this teacup in. So I go and fix it later on, but at this point I'm like, do I keep painting or do I just not do anything about it, not correct it? Or do I just chuck this painting and start over, which I didn't want to do. I don't like to just stop painting and starting over. Is like, it takes a lot of mental energy for me to do that, and I never do that. I have never done that. I always try to fix a painting, which is not a very healthy habit, I guess. You can always start over. It's just a painting. But for me, it's not something like that. I always need to go ahead and keep going till it turns out to be the way I want it to be. So, yeah, and I just, as I'm painting the rim of this cup, I'm realizing, oh my god, this is not the shape I want it to look like, but what do I do? And I just keep going anyways. So, art block is completely normal. Everything you go through as an artist is valid. I feel like as artists, as right brainers, we are very, very emotional, and we don't like to make mistakes. We are such perfectionists, which all play into the part when you do make a mistake, you feel like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. But it really isn't. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to feel like, oh my god, I made a mistake, it's not working out, you know, and being stuck for a little while is totally normal. First of all, I feel like we need to validate that feeling and not take it as if it's a failure. It's just what do you say? It's just a speed bump. You just need to overcome it, you know? So that's the mentality I was in, and it was definitely not a fun space to be as an artist. But I just kept painting little by little, and I just kept telling myself, it's just a painting. Just keep going, you know? And at one point, I remember I did not even want to go through with this. I thought I'm going to stop and start on a different painting. So, not the same picture, something else. I was thinking of watermelons, and I was thinking, I want to paint a watermelon. It's in the back of my head. Should I just stop this and skip to the watermelon? But I was still feeling a little negative, and I was still feeling like I'm stuck and I'm not enjoying the process. So I didn't want to go ahead and start another painting while this is unfinished. So I didn't do that. I still kept pushing through. So I kept going, and at this point, I'm just adding some color to the actual tea in the cup, and I mostly used burnt sienna for the tea, and for the rim of this cup, I used a lot of burnt sienna, a little bit of yellow ochre, and also dark blue. You guys know I love mixing dark blue or dark purple or like a crimson red to make things darker and lighter as I go along. So that's what I'm doing here. I mixed a little bit of dark blue and a little bit of white to create this shadowy kind of reflection, not a shadow, but like a reflection on the cup. And I think that part I really enjoyed painting. I love painting reflections and shadows, and that's what I thought. That's why I thought this would be a really good project for me. But it was challenging, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like my mindset played into the experience, and I didn't feel like I was enjoying it as much as I should. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm kind of almost done at this point with the reflection, and I'm just cleaning it up with more burnt sienna watered down, just cleaning up those edges of the reflection. And I did enjoy this part, I'm not gonna lie. This part was pretty interesting and fun to do. As I'm going through this painting, I felt like, I felt so stuck. I just wanted to take a break. We come to the next point, which is taking a break is allowed. You want to step away from your painting and take a breather. That is totally valid, and that's what you should do. That is part of art block or artist block, and you just want to kind of step away and gain new perspective and just look at your painting and feel all the feelings that you're feeling, and just allow yourself to breathe and not feel weighed down by this painting that is not working out. So I decided to go on a walk. We went on a swim, and I felt so relaxed, and I felt like I didn't feel weighed down anymore. And then here you can see how I changed the shape. After coming back to this painting, I decided to change the shape of the cup. And at this point, I'm thinking, if I can still see that I changed and corrected this after putting a layer of paint on top of it, then I'm just gonna stop the painting and not continue. But to my surprise, it didn't look too bad. And if I kept adding more layers, I felt like it would look really, really cool. So that's what I did, and I decided to keep going, and I'm so happy that I did. So, taking that little break actually helped me to clear my mind and not feel so negative about the painting. I feel like you need to step back and take a break, because if you are if you have decided to fix the painting, then you need to gain new perspective, how to do it, what are you going to change. In my case, I changed the shape of the rim, and I was pretty happy with that. So even if it's not going to turn out exactly the way you wanted it, you still find ways to fix it, because your mind is in a better place. You're relaxed, and it doesn't feel like the painting is weighing you down, and the process is really, it's making you feel stuck. So now you can go in and add the details that you like and maybe fix the painting. And that's what I'm doing here. I've taken some time to fix the rim of the cup, and I'm drawing in the new rim. And this took a little time, but I was still able to see the old rim through the paint. The paint was a little wet, and I felt like it needed a little more coats of paint. But I just decided to keep painting the rim and try to make it as symmetrical as possible. I'm just going with the flow at this point, and I don't know even if I like it at the end of the painting, but I felt like, I need to push through because I've decided to do it. I'm happy with the shape now. I'm happy with the shape of the rim, and I thought, okay, one step at a time, just little by little, I'm just gonna keep adding layers of paint to this and see how I feel and see where it takes me. And that is important, to give yourself that time to relax and come back to the painting with a fresh mind. Now I'm doing the shadow. This is the part that I was most excited for. So I feel like I just was not feeling like it's going to end up the way I wanted it to be, but I still kept doing it because I love painting shadows and I love painting highlights and reflections, and I felt like it could really turn this picture around, because the highlight and the reflection and the shadows are the most eye-catching portion of this image or this painting. So I decided to go through it. I felt like the sauce is a little wonky, and I fix it a little bit later on. So I just went with the flow, and I thought, okay, that's when I realized that pushing through this painting really gave me so much perspective and such a sense of accomplishment that I'm so glad I didn't ditch this painting and just go into another painting with all those negative thoughts, because I feel like then I would have kind of felt negative all throughout that painting process. And I'm so glad I pushed through. Even though I felt so stuck at the beginning, I decided to keep going, and it really paid off. The most important thing was the way I was feeling at the end of this painting. I felt so accomplished. I didn't feel stuck anymore. I definitely pushed through the artist block or the art block that I was going through, and I was so ready to jump into my next painting, which is what you need when you go through artist block. And I feel like I wouldn't have come out of it if I didn't push through and finish the painting. So you just have to tell yourself it's just a painting. You're allowed to make mistakes, and you're allowed to take a break and just keep going. You might or might not like the outcome, but you will definitely feel accomplished, and you will definitely feel like you're ready to take on more challenges as you go. So that is my final advice to you guys. And I'm adding the final touches to this painting. Not completely hating the way it looks like. I think the reflections need a little bit more highlight, and I'm gonna go in and add those parts in just a little bit. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think it makes me feel really good at this point, and I'm so ready to see what the outcome is looking like. And I'm adding more white highlights, and I feel like it kind of helped to turn this painting around and to make it look a little bit more eye-catching, in my opinion. So that's what I'm doing. I'm adding a lot of white highlights, a lot of dots, a lot of stripes, and just enjoying the last portion of this painting process. If you guys ever think you feel like you're not a good artist, trust me, practice makes perfect. This is like living proof. I love to take on a project like this again, and I feel like I'll do a really good job next time, and I know what to do and where I made mistakes. So next time I'm not going to make those same mistakes, and I'm going to enjoy the process a lot more. I usually don't paint the same subject or the same reference picture, or like I don't paint the same thing again and again, and I think that's something I like to change. That's something that I want to do in the future. I'm definitely going to do or paint the same things over and over again, so I gain more practice and I can get better at it every time. So yeah, that's my next advice. This is just a learning curve. Just keep going and try to do the same paintings, or not the same paintings. Like if you're painting a teacup, try painting different types of teacups, because you will learn a lot throughout the process, and that's what I'm gonna do. I love this part where I'm adding highlights. They look really fun, and it added a lot of realism into this painting, and I really loved this part. So that's the end of this whole process. I'm so happy. It's looking a bit more the way I wanted it to look, and I'm happy it turned out the way it did. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this process. I'm going to clean up the edges a little bit more, because I feel like the sauce is a little wonky, like I said before. And I'm just stepping back and just looking, what do I need to add and what do I have to kind of cover with paint. And just kept going and just trusting my gut and just adding more and more layers to make it look really seamless and realistic. So that is the end of this painting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I learned so many great things doing this painting. So I hope my advice helped you. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.